All right, so I did go ahead and sand it down a little bit just to get some of the sparkles off and clean it up just a touch. I think it turned out really, really cool. I've mixed up just some clear epoxy. I've gotten a lot of bubbles in there, so I'm sure I'll have to torch this. I'm just going to cover it, including the sides, and then it'll take 24 hours or so to cure again, and then I'll show you what we do from there. So let's go ahead and pour this on here and get started. I like to save some in reserve just to make sure I have enough for the sides and stuff. But, oh, I forgot to put out my cards. And I avoid the edges at first, so I just get a good coat over everything. And then I'll come back and we'll do the edges. Sorry, my torch was rocking on the table there, making that ticking sound, so I moved it. Yep, so we just want, I may actually need to mix up a little more. This is taking more than I thought it would have. If you don't add enough epoxy on these steps, you get little divots and pockets in the wood. Then you have to either live with them or come back and fill them, depending on what you do. They drive me absolutely nuts, so I usually end up messing with them a whole bunch until I mess it up and then have to try and fix it. That's one thing I've had to try and learn, is that it's okay if it's not absolutely 100% perfect, which is hard for me, but can't control this 100%, so you have to learn to live with a few imperfections here and there on these. All right, so the top's pretty well coated. Make sure that, you know, we've got it fairly even. It self-levels, so it's not a huge deal if you have high spots and low spots. There's a divot here on the end. I need to make sure to get plenty of epoxy in. There we go. And then just kind of let it do its thing. And then I'll use my fingers for the most part to do the edges. Just to get everything covered. That's why I save extra, so it's easier to have some to use on the edges. You're going to get drips. That's kind of unavoidable. At least for me, it's been unavoidable. And I just come back after I'm all done and sand the bottom to get all the drips off, so it's flat on the back. So far, most people who have bought these from me have displayed them like on a stand. A few have hung them, but for the most part, people have displayed them in like TV consoles or on tables and used stands and stuff, which is not what I expected. I expected most of them to be hung, but it doesn't seem to be how most people want to display them, and it's totally up to them, obviously. So I don't always put alligator clips or picture frame wire on them once they're done. I kind of let people decide what they want, and then if they want the hanging stuff, I can add it for them, or they can do it when they get it, so they have the type that they want to use. It's looking pretty good. So I just kind of go around, and as it drips down, I just kind of throw it back in the middle and rub the edges real good. The ends where it's open grain tends to take more, kind of soaks in. So you just gotta double check and make sure you didn't miss any spots once it starts soaking in. That looks pretty good. See, I have some divots over here, so I'll just add some more. And again, like I said, it's all self-leveling, so as long as the surface you're working on is fairly level, you're pretty good. You don't have to worry about it too much. You know, just spread it out as evenly as you can get it and call it a day. So you can see when there's certain areas that are going to have divots. I just kind of come back and mess with them a little bit with the card to try and get it to spread out. It's a little cold in here today, so I probably should have warmed up the house a little more before doing this because it's not moving quite as well as it normally does. All right. Take the torch. This is just a benzomatic torch to get all the bubbles out. It doesn't take much. And for the torching, I just do it every 5 minutes or so. I try not to worry too much about the specific spots. I go over it, I give it 5 minutes, I come back and I'll do it again. So I'll probably film doing that at least one more time so you guys can see it. And then after that, I'll let it be until it's all done tomorrow. And then I'll show you guys the finished product. So hang tight and I'll show you a couple more torches and this one will be done. Thank you. All right, so it's been about 5 minutes. Most of the bubbles actually settled down really, really well. So I'm just going to torch it real quick, make sure everything looks good, and go from there. Well, there's actually a lot more bubbles in there than I expected. So this top edge looks... Yeah, it looks like it didn't quite get enough epoxy on it, so we may have to add some more or something up here. Just kind of let it run over. I don't like it when it's not uniform on the edges. I'm just going to keep adding right here to this edge where it looks like it didn't quite run over the edge like it wanted it to. Probably a little harder with these routed edges on this piece of board, but it was noticeably different than the top. Yeah, looks better. Way better. Strange. It's like right here along the edge. It just, I don't know if it's soaking in or if it didn't run over like I wanted it to. Probably from the routing, I guess. So, just try and smooth it out as best I can. Yeah, it looks way better. All right, so I'm not going to film the other bubbles. I'll probably have to come back and pop it a couple more times before we're all said and done. But after that, it should be done unless I messed up anywhere or something weird goes on. So I will come back in 24 hours and show you what the finished thing looks like. Thank you. Okay, here we are, all finished. It looks pretty good. I love the way the green pops. I expected that all these little veins in here would have filled more with color, but they didn't. But it still looks pretty great. I'm super, super happy with it. I'll need to sand the back down a little bit. I haven't done that yet, but that's what it looks like all said and done. I did have to go back and add a little more epoxy to the top of this one. I didn't quite have enough on it. I was getting too many little divots and dips in it. But other than that, it looks really, really good. I'm super happy with the way the epoxy turns out. I'll grab one that is wipe on poly finished and show you what that looks like as well, so you can kind of see a comparison. So this is one that has just wipe on poly on it. Same technique for putting in the resin, same technique for cleaning it up, just a different top coat of wipe on poly as opposed to a clear coat of a resin on top. This looks a lot more natural, a lot more clean. This one's a lot shinier, but I think this one makes the wood grains really stand out differently than this one. Those are the two options or finishes that I choose to use right now. I know there's other options out there that I'll keep playing and experimenting with, but for now, these are the two I do and like the best. So that's it for this project. Thank you very much, and I'll be making more videos later in the week. Thank you.